Hey. Good evening, everyone. It's your girl, Aisha Fatima Dozier, founder and CEO of Bossy Cosmetics. Hi. I'm dancing to Afrobeats. I'm listening to Afrobeats music, and you can see my beautiful kaftan on today, made by Love Iguehi. Hey, boogie, boogie, boogie. And she is the fashion designer that we will be speaking to today, or that I will be speaking to today. And what's really exciting about today is it's our kickoff of our Black History Month chat series. And I decided just last week to set up a chat series. This month, February, is Black History Month. Hi! And I wanted to talk to Black women around the world. And so we have a lot of really interesting, amazing women who will be joining this whole month of February, where I will be chatting with Black women. So, hi, Iguehi. I see you're here. Please request to join. Hi, Tongba. How are you? Let's see. So month of February, very exciting. Waiting for Iguehi to join us. I've got some Afrobeats. Ah! Hello.
What up?
How are you? Let me lower my Afrobeats. Hold on.
You know what's so funny? I literally was saying, I need to put on some music to get me in the mood for this interview.
Yes, I put on some music to get me going, and of course, check me out.
Yay!
So I was just saying, yes, I see the lipstick. Support, support. That's what it looks like. So I was just saying before you came on that you are an amazing fashion designer, and that you are my first in a series of conversations. I think I have like 8 conversations this month with amazing Black women. And of course, it's Black History Month, and I wanted to use this opportunity to just share stories. And so, welcome. First of all, am I pronouncing it right? Iguehi.
That's it. That's it.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's it. Iguehi. So I actually just changed a little description on my business because
I saw that.
I wanted to help people out. People were like, I think this is how she says her name or her business. I was like, you know what? Let me just make it out phonetically so that people can get it.
Yeah. So my name is, my full name is Aisha too, but everyone calls me Aisha. But people always say Aisha.
Yes,
and it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. So I should probably put something up like that as well to be like, it's Aisha, not Aisha.
And you know, the first time I heard the pronunciation of your name was on Guy Raz, How I Built This.
Can you imagine? I still don't believe that. I still don't believe that happened, by the way. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was crazy. But that's the way. Well, somebody said she loves your lips. Tell them what you're wearing.
Yes, I am wearing Bossy lipstick.
And I am wearing a beautiful kaftan. I got a model up before we end the show by you. And then I got a little necklace to go with it. And I did my little flamingo earrings. So I really kitted out my outfit. And I love it.
I love it.
I love it. So, okay, let's get to the discussion. Thank you so much, first of all, for making the time. We've never met in person, but I follow you, and I just think that your brand is beautiful. The Ankara, we're both originally from Nigeria, so I wanted us to touch on so many different things today. But let's start off with, tell us a little bit about the brand. And, you know, what you stand for. What's your founder story, and why Ankara Fabrics?
So, thank you guys all for joining. For those of you who are joining from Bossy side, from Love Iguehi side, thank you guys so much. So excited to have you in on this conversation. So my name is Iguehi James. My maiden name is Esomemi. So I was born and raised in Oakland, California. Both of my parents are Nigerian. I am a wife, a mommy of 3, a sister, a friend, and everything in between. And I started Love Iguehi in 2016 this year. And when I started Love Iguehi, it wasn't actually a business per se. I kind of taught myself how to sew. So my background is actually in healthcare.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This is a whole career switch.
I love it. I want to hear this. And you taught yourself how to sew.
YouTube University.
Wow. And did you sew this yourself?
I always sew I used to sew everything, every single thing that went out. But as demand grew, as volume grew, I got smarter.
You gotta be smart, man.
And I will sew the first one, and then I have a local manufacturer here.
Oh, fantastic.
In Oakland. Yeah.
Okay.
In Oakland.
All right.
So like I started the business in 2017, and it started as a hobby. And kind of was teaching myself to sew, working in healthcare, doing it on the side. And then a friend asked me to vend at her event. And so I was like, not even a business. I was like, what do I call myself? Like, what should I do? And that's kind of how the business started. So Love Iguehi is an African-inspired clothing and apparel company. We're based here in Oakland, California. Everything is produced here, either in my house or in Oakland, California. So what we do is we create beautiful African-inspired clothing that can be easily incorporated into your existing wardrobe. So I do a lot of complementary statement pieces that you can wear with jeans and dresses that you already own, but it just adds a pop of color and culture and vibrancy to your wardrobe. So Love Iguehi is all about spreading love, sharing love, being love, exemplifying love, whether that's God's love or the love that you have for one another. So, similar to you, it's kind of an empowerment,
Yes.
brand.
Yes.
Here to lift people up and make them look good and feel good about themselves.
Absolutely. So first of all,
why we got matching chairs? Do we have matching chairs?
We might do. It's pretty close. Okay, so first of all, that's amazing. And I love the fact that you are your model. Like, I get such great inspiration from seeing you wear your own stuff. And I love the way you sort of match, tradition, like your dusters. I need one of those dusters. I love it the way you match it with like jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And the way there was one you posted where it was like you looking serious, but you looking silly. I love the way you mix your family with everything. Like, how did you, before we get into the business itself, how did you decide to do this full time, right? Because this was like a side hustle when you started with a full-time gig. So what made you decide 5 years ago, you know what, let me do this full time?
It wasn't even something that I had planned. And I think that, I'm a believer, and I feel like God's plan is better than our plan. And again, I went to school, got a master's in public health, went down this whole, clinical research, path. And I thought that that's what I was going to do. And so I was working, I was actually working at UCSF, and I was sewing on the side. And then I got pregnant with my twins. So I have 3 kids. I have a 7-year-old, and then I have twins that are 3. So when I was pregnant with the 3-year-olds, I took time off kind of mid-pregnancy. It was just too much to kind of do everything. So I took a year off with plans to go back to work. And so I had a serious conversation with my husband about what life would look like, going back to work, having a little, not a toddler, but she was 4 at the time, and then having twins. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to manage this. I'm going to figure it out, So my plans were to go back after maternity leave. And then my husband says, something's got to give. And I said, you're right. You're right. I don't know how to do all this. And then he was like, babe, I think you should bet on you. And I was like, what that mean? And he was like,
I love that though.
I think you should bet on yourself. I mean, do Love Iguehi full time. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. And I was like, you know what? I think I will. I think I will.
That's so.
So yeah.
I love supportive partner stories. So important. You cannot succeed as a woman in business who is married with kids if your partner is not 1000% on board. So I love that whole bet on you. That is him telling you to bet in the woman he bet in.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow. That's
Yeah, I have,
amazing.
if I look back on just kind of my journey, I have never, and I'm just being completely honest, I have, some people are like, oh, I've always wanted to have a bit. That has never been me. I have never saw myself as a business owner.
Oh, wow.
Early in our dating, my husband is the one who's very entrepreneurial. And we talked about like his business in real estate and finance and all that. And so when we asked for a business for our family, I didn't know it was going to be this. Okay. I didn't know. I honestly did not know that this was the plan because I didn't see this for myself, but I'm thankful that I have a partner who saw this in me. Wow. And, now that I see it, it's brought out things in me. Like my work ethic is
good,
crazy. And I didn't realize that because I hadn't, a lot of times things came fairly easy for me, kind of career wise. Like I kind of had this path and I knew what was next. And I've always had excellent working, situations. So it wasn't a desire like, God, I hate my job, I'm ready to leave. Or I've always had amazing bosses, supervisors. Like literally, I've been blessed in that way.
Right.
But God said, nah, babe, I got something better for you.
I got another plan. So let's talk about the business itself, right? Because so you felt this calling to do what you do. Mm-hmm. But it hasn't been easy, right? There's no way it's been a walk in the park for 5 years, right? So let's start, right, because it's Black History Month, and I really want to focus on storytelling from Black women. Yeah. That is the goal of these chats I'm having, because I feel like most, and our conversation is specifically around community, because what really attracted me to you and your brand is it's so clear that you have really galvanized your community when you're creating products, when you're creating content. And I want to talk about the woman behind that, right? Because it's hard. When I saw today, you posted something on, was it Keep Oakland Alive, which we'll talk about. I then saw that it was your garage. You mentioned it was your garage. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know she was doing this out of her garage, right? Like, what have been the challenges that you have felt like, not just as a business owner, but as a Black female business owner? I want to hear about that, because I think more people need to know that, yes, we're doing well, we're posting pictures, we're trying to get business going, but it's hard.
It's hard to tell. Look, if you follow me enough, I'm going to keep it 100. There are beautiful, beautiful moments and times where you're just like, feel like you're floating and you're like, I'm walking in my purpose. And, you've had incredible sales day and you meet incredible people. But there are a lot of days where you're like, now, why did I do this again? Because this is really, really hard. Like,
especially when you believe and you know in your heart that you are walking in your purpose that God put you on. Yeah. And there are days when it's so awful, you're like, wait, what is the, what happened?
It like literally you have to be able to go like this with your emotions, literally go like this. Yeah. It's very rare that you're peaking and you're like just accelerating and everything is all rosy. It's hard. It's really, really hard. And I would say for me, one of the things I battled with in this process is kind of like the feeling of loneliness. Like even I have a lot of friends. I have incredible support. I have a super amazing husband. I have crazy little kids. They are always around in my business, but I love them and they keep me motivated. I feel lonely still. And I had to tell my husband, like, I know I have all these people, but sometimes I feel like I'm by myself. Yeah. And not because he's not available, even though he's like grinding and doing his thing. but emotionally it feels like you're on this island. And what I realized, what has been important for me, is to connect with people like you, like other business owners who are going through this journey together, so that I can look at your thing and say, man, she really did it. That's encouraging for me. There's specific women who I watch and I'm just like, one day, one day I'll be there, or one day I'll, I find that motivating, because sometimes it can feel very defeating. You plan something and you're like, dang, that didn't really go off the way I thought. Oh, I did this. COVID threw us all for a loop.
2020 was, somebody said the other day, 2020 was a dumpster fire of a year. And I'm like, that's actually a really good way to characterize 2020. It was awful.
It was crazy. It was crazy. I felt emotionally drained, but we made it.
We made it.
I was working through and all that, but I would say, as a business owner, any business owner, I would say it's hard. There's a lot of work. You have to be self-motivated, because there's no one to tell you to keep working. There's no one to say at this time you need to be doing this. So it's up to you to say, okay, these are my goals. This is how I'm, setting out to achieve those things. Okay, if it didn't work, what do I need to, reevaluate and revisit so that I can come better next time? I've had to do a lot of self-reflection in this process.
Yeah.
A whole lot of self-reflection.
Yeah.
And I think, for me, what has been helpful really is connecting with other women. Other Black women has been, because we kind of understand, like, there are people who started businesses and they got funding. Like, I started this business with the money that we had in the bank. And
every cent that comes out of it goes right back in.
And I don't think people understand that. Like,
there is no like millions of dollars hitting the bank account that I then use to do all sorts of crazy things. Sorry, I'm trying to make this higher.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that, right? Because I feel like, especially after last year with the whole George Floyd movement and everybody just like Black-owned brands, Black-owned brands, Black-owned brands, I feel like we didn't address the systemic issue, right? Because if we don't even take this all super high level, let's just talk about you and me here.
Mm-hmm.
Black-owned brands, okay, everybody's making noise about support. First of all, how sustainable is that support? If you flood my page and buy my products because you're supporting in the month of June and July, and then you never talk about it, you never post about it, you never evangelize, you never come back again, I'm grateful for the orders, but you haven't completely changed my business for me.
Absolutely.
If you as a venture, you run a fashion business. There are tons of companies that, somebody writes them a $5 million check
off bat
to play, on an idea, and you have a thriving business, you're not going to get that money. So it's really been, some days I look on, I had to get to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to follow a lot of people on Instagram because my mental health can't handle that. What do you think about that?
I literally had a conversation with someone about this yesterday. And if you look on my account, I don't follow tons of people. And that's not for any reason more than I have to protect my mental health.
Yeah.
Because
so my personal account, I follow my company and my mother. That's it.
You have to get to that point. I don't think people realize, and maybe they do, but it's so easy to fall victim to comparison.
Yeah.
And especially when you don't feel like you are doing everything that you need to be doing. It feels like everybody around you is super successful. For my own sanity, I'm like, I have to be more selective. There have been times where I've just like go through, I'm like, I'm just going to unfollow this person.
I can't.
Before I like even learned this about myself, there were certain accounts that I was following, and every time I saw their posts, because they were vacationing here and looking fabulous here and doing all these things, I would feel some way about myself. And then I had to check myself. I'm like, I don't even know this person and they don't know me. Why am I doing this to myself?
Yeah.
Why am I exposing myself to someone who, again, doesn't know me? I don't know them, but I feel some angst.
You
Every
don't
time
know
I
anything about anything that's going on in their life. And so,
No.
and that was the thing about 2020 where because there was so much noise and stuff going on with the pandemic. I also have 3 kids. My 3 kids are older than yours. They're all in school. Everybody had to be homeschooled. And
Yep.
then the business, I had supply chain challenges. There was so much going on. And then there's people posting and going skiing, or people posting, in Mexico on the beach and all sorts of stuff. Or people, oh my God, I just got into Sephora. Oh my God, I just did this. I
Yes.
was like, all right, everybody else is winning but me. Okay, fine.
It feels.
But
But the funny thing is there's so many of us in this position who are seeing this, and we're all thinking the same thing.
yeah. I feel like we need a society. We need a
Look,
society of female founders
I'll be the first one
who
to
are
sign up.
struggling with emotional health challenges, especially when you are a solo founder. When you do it by yourself, your comment around loneliness, and this is why I wanted us to talk about community, because my husband is a founder as well, but he started his company many years ago with his brother.
Okay.
And so not only is it his best friend is his co-founder, his brother is his co-founder, he has somebody who is equally vested in the success and failure of the company as him.
Yep.
Nobody, even me, his wife, who relies on the income from that business,
Yep.
can ever feel the challenge the way his brother does.
Yep.
And it's lonely when you are a solo founder and in like the rejection you deal with, right? Like, I don't know if you've ever considered going into retailers and like trying to level up your business and scale up. I mean, the scale of rejection is just like, and you feel it alone. Even if you tell your spouse and he's like, oh, sorry, babe, it didn't go your way. He doesn't feel that knife in the chest the way you do.
Nope. No.
It's hard.
And that rejection is real. I mean, it's such like I said, you go through a roller coaster, and I'm never going to be that person that's going to say, look at me now, all the people who turned me down, blah, blah, blah. But I am waiting for the day when I can look back and say, you passed me over. And that's okay. But I'm here now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there are times where I've like applied for different things and I didn't get it. And it hurts, you're like, oh, this sucks,
I even stopped applying for stuff last year because I was like, I can't deal with the rejection, so I'm just not even putting my hat in the ring. Enough is enough. And I felt like last year, was really tricky for me, at least in the beauty industry as a Black-owned brand. There were so many different, like, performative, in my opinion, moves. Like, oh, Black-owned brands, let's mentor you. Come and do this. We want to mentor. Everyone wants to mentor you. Right? And then God knows what you're going to do with me with this mentoring, but you're not giving me any money. Or if you're giving me money, you're giving me $2,000 or $5,000, which means nothing. And I just kind of feel like Black-owned brands always get mentorship, while, white women in these industries, fashion and beauty, get dollars and cents. Like, they get the money. And so last year,
there's value in having both, right? Because for me, because I am fairly new, I don't know a lot. I can appreciate the mentorship, but I need the money too. Yeah. So it's not good I don't think you would be doing a business a disservice to not, if you gave them money and they don't know what to do and they blow it, that's not good. But to assess where people are and realize, okay, this person would be better served with this capital. And this person may be better served with this amount of capital, but this amount of guidance or training. Yeah. I think that there is benefit to that as well. Yeah. But like you said, you're right. Like, people are quick to be like, you can enroll into our program for free, and then someone else can get backing.
I mean, I
had ideas.
I had this I share this story all the time without saying the name, but we had a national retailer who approached us. And I was so excited. and they gave us a PO for $3,000.
3,000?
You heard me.
It was a
$3,000.
national like store?
Yes. They offered us .com only $3,000 and asked if I had diversity certification.
Oh, because that's what they wanted to be able to claim.
They want to be able to claim they have a Black-owned brand in their store. So it's been really interesting. It's been a
And I
very
don't see how
interesting.
people don't see the issue in that. Like they don't see how apparent it is what they're doing.
I don't even know. And I mean, I definitely told them what I thought about that
That's
offer.
crazy.
And those are the types of people who you say, you know, I'm not going to be boastful in the future, but I do hope there's one day
Yep.
where we get to have a conversation again and I'm successful.
Yep.
And I say to you, do you remember that time you offered me $3,200 as an initial purchase order? I'm so glad I don't have to deal with those kinds of things anymore.
That's great. You know what? It's great. So I was listening. Sorry, I'm getting all these pop-ups. I don't frequent the app much because it's a lot of time, but I was on Clubhouse the day before yesterday and I don't remember the person's name. So I feel bad that I can't quote the person who said it, but she worked for, was it Target? She was a buyer for Target or something like that. And she was saying, there was a whole discussion about helping Black businesses and, you know, people feeling like, okay, I'm not going to put you out. I'm not going to help you if you don't prove yourself, if you don't prove that you are worth us sticking our neck out for you or making the introduction or whatever. And she said, well, I sit on the other end and I have a different perspective. People are always asking Black women and Black people to prove themselves, prove that they can make this much in sales. But there's a lot of white women who are getting offers for ideas. Like they literally they've never made a sale, but they have people backing them and throwing money at them for ideas that they have. But yet we're asked to prove ourselves, you know, show how much you've made, show, you know, within a certain amount of time. And she was like, so I'm on the other side and I realized that it's just not fair. And I don't think people realize, like, it is so unequal. There's such an unequal balance in what we have to do to get to where other people are just ushered.
Other people just wake up in the morning and start, where we have to jump and climb. And this is why, you know, when that happened middle of last year, I wanted to focus on community, building a brand, taking my time, because I really do feel I am walking in my purpose, as we talked about earlier. And I have to be patient. And you don't always say yes to every opportunity that comes your way. It may not be the right thing anyway. And so take the time, develop the brand, develop the community, develop the sense of purpose, develop, you know, who you are creating for.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So tell me about this Keep Oakland Alive thing. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, so Keep Oakland Alive is a platform. It was almost like a pilot platform that was based here in Oakland. And so they have a website where they house like different Oakland brands. And when people place orders on their website, they're able to offer delivery service. And it's like 1 day, 2 day, very quick delivery service. So literally, people will place an order for something on Keep Oakland Alive. I would receive the order through our own kind of system. Someone will come to my house and pick up the order and deliver it to the person's house.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so it's like a pretty sweet deal in that it kind of is offering kind of the same fast delivery service that Amazon offers. You know, people are so used to getting things quick.
Yeah. Which the rest of us can't afford as small brands.
You know what? It's so funny. I don't think people realize the cost of shipping and how expensive it is to ship. So I did a little, you know,
I had a customer once who placed an order and she called literally 2 hours later and was like, I placed an order where, and she's in New York. I was like, sweetie pie, this is going to take 3 days.
This is the thing. I don't know that people, so that is actually what this whole conversation I had yesterday was about. Like, people have become so accustomed to getting things so fast that when you're dealing with small businesses where things move a little slower, we're working as fast and working really hard to offer the best service that we can, but we don't have the systems, the money, the, things in place to offer free shipping and next day shipping. Like, that cost, it's really, really expensive. Speaking of
Especially
shipping,
if you want it free.
so I did the free thing. I did free shipping November and December of last year.
I think
Let me tell you,
I do free shipping on like days. So I'll do like Cyber Mondays free shipping. That's it.
I did it for I think 6 weeks, maybe, or maybe it was like 2 months, and it is very expensive.
Yeah.
It is very expensive to offer free shipping. And so while I would love to offer it, like, free shipping makes me feel good. But as a small business owner, you have to understand how huge of an expense that is for companies to take on. And a lot of us, unfortunately, we just cannot afford it. We would love to offer it all the time. We just can't afford it.
We can't.
But yeah, so they deliver the stuff, and they are now expanding Keep Oakland Alive to other cities. So now it's going to be called, is it Neighborly? I have to look on their website, on their Instagram. They just announced it yesterday.
Awesome.
So yeah,
Awesome.
It's been a really great partnership. I've enjoyed it. And people seem to enjoy it. It's just, another way to kind of market the brand to.
Well, that's the thing that, I've found, and I'd love to get your view about this, like marketing. What's your approach to marketing, right? Because, again, what? I know, right? It's like, you can't just make the product and expect people to show up. You have to do some work, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know how I discovered you. I think it was on Instagram. Started following. I was like, oh my God, and she's Nigerian. Oh my Lord. And then I ordered it and I love it, right? But like, there's a whole cost of even creating content or digital marketing or a team. And I don't have a team. So this is the team.
And I think that's, you see people online and you just, because it's a business, it's a brand, you assume that there's a lot of people doing all these different things. Whereas it's really like 1 or 2 people doing all the things. It's a lot. It's a lot. Marketing in itself, that needs to be a department for every business. Like, creating content, like, that has been actually a real struggle for me. I have kind of default become the face of my brand. I don't think that I intentionally said I want to be the face of Love Iguehi, but it's convenient to take pictures of me because I'm here. And
it's cheaper.
It's cheaper. I can do things on the fly. I've been lucky in that I've been able to rely on friends to like help me. Like, my friend group has been instrumental in kind of getting me to this point. They've come over. There have been times where things have been crazy busy and I'd be like, hey, send out a text like SOS. And so people will come over and we'll be packaging up orders or things together. So it's tough. It's a lot. It's a whole lot. And marketing is so hard because you do think like, I have this great product. People are just going to come and buy everything up. And then you're like, these crickets don't sound good.
Yeah, exactly.
These crickets are real loud. What the heck?
It is not a build it and they will come. You need to work to get them to show up.
You have to work. You have to work. This is my first, like in the fall was the first time I did paid ads. Because I didn't know, like, okay, I really need to put money behind this.
But did it work for you?
It worked. It has worked for me and it is working. I don't have any ads running right now, but I will soon. But I couldn't do it myself. So I hired someone because I don't have the bandwidth to take on learning all of that, And so I've hired someone to kind of do the ads part for me. For as far as social media and posting and all that, that's me. But running the ads, I had to put that on someone else's plate and just pay, because that stress,
Yeah.
I would just be wasting money. I would
Yeah.
set it up and
Yeah.
it will be taking my coins. So
Yeah. I mean,
do you run
I've
ads?
done off and on and on and off. Facebook ads on
Uh-huh.
Facebook/Instagram.
Yeah.
And honestly, I have to say, I felt like it's a waste of money. And I don't know, but I haven't paid anybody to do it. I have, and maybe I'm just not doing it very well. And I know a lot of people say it's really great. I shouldn't say it's a waste of money. It has sent a lot of people to the site. So to that extent, I've gotten a lot of discovery. But to the extent that it's converted, I haven't really seen the ROI. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just not doing it well. So just make sure whoever you've hired really knows what they're doing,
Yeah,
because
I think that's because I know for sorry, I'm like readjusting. I know for me, if I were to do it, I would make $1. But I did. Look, you got to know your lane.
your
I'm
strengths
just
and
gonna
your
bowl.
weaknesses.
I'm gonna bowl in my lane. I'm gonna let somebody else bowl in the ads lane. But no, there's been a return on spend. So I think that if you have the right person, right systems, because your imagery is amazing. Like
Thank you.
your pictures are amazing. Your testimonials are amazing. And so I think you would serve really well with ads.
Yeah, I probably need to get someone who knows what they're doing to do it. We've approached marketing in just a completely, or at least I've approached it in a completely different way. So social media
Mhm.
and just friends and newsletters and just community. Like it's been, I feel like my customers become my community. The
Yeah.
moment you buy a product, I feel like you're my family member
Yeah.
now. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I can email you personally, DM you, and ask you, did you like it? What's the feedback? What can I help you with? And I've just found that women, Black and non-Black women, other women of color, white women have been really, 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 really supportive of the
Same.
brand.
Same.
I have been really, really blessed. And I think that's one thing, when people talk about Black owned brands, I say we are Black owned, but our products are not just for Black women, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's be very,
Yeah.
very careful
Yeah.
and very clear about,
Yeah.
I'm wearing this. Any woman who wants to look gorgeous can wear this, or one of your dusters,
Absolutely.
or anything. It's
Absolutely.
not about, Ankara fabric is gorgeous and it looks regal and beautiful on anyone.
On anyone.
On
On anyone.
anyone. And
Mm-hmm.
that's one of my biggest things. And I struggle. I don't know if you have this struggle, but I struggle with feeling like I constantly need to explain to people that we're not a makeup company only for Black women. And people make that assumption because I'm Black. Do you find that at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm in the questions I get kind of make sense with the whole like appropriation, right? And cultural appropriation and
Okay.
people stealing from Black artists and claiming as, their own, and selling Ghana Must Go bags for like $3,000.
Crazy. But first of all, the biggest crazy person is the person who bought that bag. That's madness. And by the way, anybody who's watching, Ghana Must Go bags, I don't know how to describe them. But they're like these like raffia bags that are white, red, and blue. We call them Ghana Must Go because back in the day in Ghana, in Nigeria, we had a bunch of Ghanaian immigrants who were in the country, and we were basically like, pack your shit in those bags and leave. So, and
What's
these
Ghana
bags
Must Go
like,
Back? You know what? The versatility of those Ghana Must Go Back. I remember my parents would take Ghana Must Go Bags, and they would, bring them from Nigeria, carrying stuff, and they would cut them up. And before loofahs were loofahs, those were the loofahs.
I feel like that's a whole different IG live. My mom is actually on this one, of what it's like to grow up as a first generation American.
It's a whole experience.
That's a whole new thing. And I tell people all the time, like I was also raised by a single mother. And I tell people, like, not only is an immigrant, I was born here, like the expectation, I'm the first daughter, the expectation of the first daughter, first child, the, you know, the respectability. I mean, I always used to laugh. I'm like, my mother, before I got married, I was 32 or 33 when I got married. We now digress, but my mother was like a stalker. For like, from when I turned 22 to 32 for 10 years, he was like, when are you getting married? 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 I was like, okay, we need to chill. But anyway, yes, the life of being a first generation American is special.
Right. So yeah, so going back to the conversation about like what I make and what can others, non-Black people wear. I get DMs about it, and I'm not offended by the DMs. I actually welcome and invite the DMs. I'm glad that people ask me, you know, I love your clothes. I'm a white woman. Is it appropriate for me to wear it? And so I get into a whole conversation dialogue with them about it. Do you love the clothes because you think they're beautiful? Yes. Okay, cool. I would love for you to wear Love Iguehi. Buy it from a Black designer. If you're going to buy African clothing, African inspired clothing, buy it from a Black designer. Don't wear it as a costume. You know,
yes, please.
Don't wear it as a costume.
Do not show up at Halloween wearing this thing.
No,
that is offensive.
No, but wear it. Wear it with pride. Be able to say, I bought this from someone. I love it. You love it too? Okay, let me send you to her website. Let me, you know, share about the business. I love everyone to wear my clothing.
Yeah.
I am very much a proud Black woman, and I'm always going to stand for Black people and Black women. And so when I'm creating things, that's who I have in mind, right? Myself or people who look like me. I am not exclusionary. I am not exclusive to one demographic over another. But what I will say is that for me, for my clothing, because I so much love and energy and care and thought into the pieces, I want people to feel that and feel a sense of pride. And if you're going to wear this and feel uncomfortable, regardless of your race, just don't even bother.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Don't do it. If you're going to be uncomfortable with it, don't do it. But if you're going to wear it and, you know, feel the positive energy and, you know, feel good about what you're wearing, then Black, white, Asian, anybody can wear it, you know?
Absolutely. And that's actually, I love that somebody will DM you and ask that. It's a very honest question.
I really appreciate the question. I think people, the appropriation is happening so much. It's kind of, I mean, if I wanted to wear something and I wasn't Black, I think it's a pretty fair question, because you have people claiming cornrows as if cornrows. Okay.
Wow. So what do you wish you knew when you started that you know now? Like, if somebody watches this video who's either now an entrepreneur or thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, what's like the single most important thing that you wish you knew?
I think it's important to build a team.
Yeah.
I think it's important to build a team. I think it's important early on to kind of create your community. For me, initially, I really was alone. There was no one. And as far as even having help with sewing, that happened like last year. And that was out of kind of, things were crazy. It was just too much. And so kind of situation breeds innovation and you needing to find help, right? But I think if I would have, what I wish I would have known when I started is the importance of like getting people who are experts in their area. So for me, like I just tried to take on way too much and I was stressed a lot to the point where it affected my health.
Wow.
in trying to run this business. And so I think had I kind of delegated some things to other people, or, felt like it was important to hire other people to do things that I just was just draining me to do, I wish I would have known to do that earlier on.
Earlier.
Yeah, I would say one thing that was really helpful for me too on this journey, I was invited to join the Oakland African American Chamber of Commerce. So that has been a really great community for me, in that I did an event, and it was was it a holiday event? Maybe it was like around December of 2018. Was it 2018? Yeah, 2018. And at that event, I met other like creatives, and they essentially kind of became my community. So we would tell each other about different vending events or different funding opportunities or different things like that. And I know that that made me feel so much more supported, and just kind of in the know. Because sometimes you don't even know what you don't know.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that, I really love what at least what I've experienced is that women are open to collaboration, right? I have seen, just so many Black female entrepreneurs who I have DM'd and said, like, I mean, you're a perfect example, but just like so many women who I have been like, hey, love what you're building. Do you mind if we talk? Even in the beauty industry, like, I see you got into this store. Can you give me a little bit of guidance? And I really think that, women who don't look at the world that way, I would really encourage them to maybe try to see the world that way, because I have felt very supported in my community of beauty founders, right? And even some of my community are not beauty founders. They're, small entrepreneurs who don't have venture capital, and we're all kind of figuring out marketing tactics or supply chain or whatever. Yeah. And to be able to lean into a community, unless you have $4 million and you can hire a whole bunch of people to delegate, community is huge.
Community is so important. What you said as far as collaboration, that was something that I even had a discussion with my husband at the end of 2020, thinking about what I want to do in 2021. I said, I would really like to do more collaborations, like with other people, whether that be in the fashion industry or not, like.
Or me. Think about me. I want to collaborate with you.
Yeah.
Do something together.
We could do
Look
it.
At us.
We could do it. Absolutely.
We could do something.
But that is something, because there's so much to be gained from working together and sharing of resources and sharing of networks. Like, there's so much beauty and power in working together. This is why I always hated the saying, no new friends.
Oh God, don't get me started on that. I think that is amoral.
People are like, no new friends. I'm just kind of like, well, you might be missing out on a lot.
You are definitely missing out on some blessings if you have that perspective. And quite frankly, you're missing out on being a blessing to someone else. So that perspective is so wrong.
Yeah.
But this notion of collaboration, I think, is so important. And I feel like sometimes, sorry?
No, I was just reading. It's just that community.
Yes, community is amazing.
It does.
It takes a village. And you know what? We are all so small. When you think about the spending dollars in this country, in this world, we are not even on the blip of the screen, right? So for me to be like, oh, I can't tell Love Iguehi. I can't talk to Iguehi about this. Like, that's just her and I together times 10. It's still not even clicking anything.
Nothing.
So we really need as women to find, and that's why in this Black History Month, I wanted to focus on women, Black women. I didn't want to talk to Black men. Not that I don't want Black men to succeed, but I wanted to focus on women. Like, how do we make it so that we are synergistic, so that 1 + 1 = 5? How do we grow together? Yeah. How do I see an opportunity and say, oh, but I need to bring Iguehi in, and vice versa? Or how do I see an opportunity that has absolutely nothing to do with me. But I'm like, oh, but I think this, like, I got an email today, Fast Company is doing something. And I was like, I don't think I'm great for this, but I emailed it to a friend of mine. I was like, hey, apply for this thing. I think that you would be much better. And
Yes.
so I just want us as to be better at collaborating, to be better at, we all have privilege in one way or the other, and to make sure that we are using our privilege for one another.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
that's what I want Black History Month to be about, is how do we harness the collective that we are now creating. You can't have thousands of Black owned brands that are all super, 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 super tiny. Like, I want you to become $1 billion brand. I need that to happen.
From this live to God's ears. Y'all hear
that? Amen. Hallelujah. I need that to happen, right? Because your success is literally my success. It makes, as you said, it inspires me, inspires other people to go on. When I see, oh my God, Iguehi did it, she did that, she got into here. And it's the same with me, right? And I don't feel like we should put that burden on us, but we do we are the people that we have been waiting for. Our ancestors are literally like, get it.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. We have the power to create and build and empower, you know, not only each other, but like future generations. And not even to be cliche. Like, I think about my little girls watching me. Yeah. Like, I think about that, and I realize that I'm planting seeds in their head.
Oh God, yes. Oh yeah.
I'm teaching them the power of working, you know. I'm teaching them the power of collaboration. When they see that mommy's friends come over here, or they see that mommy has other business, you know, friends who are in businesses and own their own businesses, like, there is so much power in that. Even the visual, like, there is real power in that. And so we definitely have to hone on that and work to create more opportunities to do it, to collaborate, to work together.
Huge. I feel the same way. I mean, I'm, you know, one of two girls. My mom has two daughters. And so when I found out my first baby was a boy, it was very shocking to me, because I was like, what am I supposed to do with a boy? And then the second was a boy, and then the third one was a boy. So it was like, all right, I got 3 boys. But I now feel like, I mean, I have no choice. I got to raise them, right? And I love them to death. But I want them to see a strong woman, like a woman who, you know, before this IG Live, I made some spaghetti sauce, right, with some spaghetti. And then I came up here. And they know mommy's got to work, but mommy also loves us. Mommy looks after us. She looks after the home. She does what she needs to do, but she also has her own dreams, her own ambitions, and her own goals. So I feel like, just as a mother to boys, it's my responsibility so that they don't ever feel intimidated by a strong woman when they grow up.
Yes. So, all of that.
Yeah. Okay, so let me wrap up. I want to play some more Afro beats in our last few minutes before we get disconnected.
I couldn't see, you know, I can't see. So I can't see any of the questions. I don't know if people are on here.
Oh, okay. So people are on here, but if anybody wants to ask questions, please feel free. I'm dancing to Afro beats. Woo! This is Olamide from Nigeria. If you have any questions, ask them. Otherwise, we got a few minutes. Anything you want to chat about, Iguehi?
So what has it been like for you, like, in the beauty industry as a Black woman, you know, in that space? Do you feel like an island? Or, I mean, I know that you say you do feel supported, but how does that feel kind of on a daily?
You know, I go through different waves. I've definitely felt alone. I've definitely felt like there are the Black-owned beauty brands that are supported by the press and supported by, you know, retailers and support. Like, there's the it girls, it feels like.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm on the outside of that. And it's just, you know, I try to, you know, I'm also a huge believer, a deep believer. And I always have to remind myself that, you know, the it person that you need to see you is God, not anybody else. So, you know, I remember when Beyonce's Black Parade came out and we weren't on the list. I was so upset. I was like, oh my God, I wish I was on that list. That would have changed my business. And honestly, I got in the shower and the Holy Spirit said to me, is Beyonce God?
Hey,
Is Beyonce God? So, you know, I have these moments
God
where
will check you like that. God will check you.
oh, he
like
checked
that.
me. He checked me. He was like, wait, huh? You worship at who? What? So I was
Man.
like, okay, I'm sorry. I don't, so I just, you know, I keep, every day when I pray, I'm like, Lord, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do with this brand?
Yeah.
Use me as a vessel. You know, let my voice speak your words. You know, let me be your tool. That's all I think about. That is
Yep.
all I think about. And so when the devil tries to get involved with like making me jealous or seeing things, I just go back and I'm like, no, that's not God.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Yeah. So
It's so funny. Like my husband is obviously he's a believer too. And so there'll be times where I'm like in my head and he will literally say, I think you need to spend time with God. I'm like, you're right, you're right. You know, he's like, I think you need to spend some time with him.
yeah.
I'm like, you're right. All right.
It's, you know, it's hard though, right? Because we are human, we are people of the world, so we will, you know, I do have these moments, you know, like where I will see I can't lie, I'll see a brand announce, oh my God, we got into Sephora, and I will just, the rest of my day is screwed.
I mean,
The
but that's just being real, you know, like that's being real, whether people want to admit it or not. As a business owner, it is so hard not to see people and know how hard you're working, and you know those same opportunities haven't come your way just yet. It's a real thing. Like it's a real thing to start to question. I mean, for me, I've talked to people about it. I'm like, man, you know, I've been making these certain things, and I think people are probably tired of them. And then a friend of mine was like, "Your brand is just a drop in the bucket. Like
I drop.
so many people don't know about you.
Exactly.
If you sell the same one item, do you know how many people have to buy that one item before people are tired of you? Girl, check yourself.
Yep.
Continue to make what you're making because people like it.
Literally.
Like
Literally.
literally, like, but it's so hard. You're like, oh my God, they come out with new things all the time. This is me talking. There's so many people coming out with new stuff, new stuff, new stuff. And I'm like, I only have this. And then I'm like, I only have. God has been really good to me. I'm so glad I have, right?
Yep. Yep.
Like,
So we have a couple questions here.
okay.
So one is, how do you stay encouraged? The other one is, are there any brands or IG folks you would like to highlight to your followers? Let's talk the first one. How do you stay encouraged? You want me to go first or you go?
Okay, go ahead.
I stay very centered. I have a great community of friends as well and family. So whenever I kind of feel frazzled, I step away and I kind of immerse myself in friends and family so that I can recenter. I pray. I go watch some TV so that the next morning it's like, get up and let's go. You can't sulk about stuff. So I just keep it moving, but I really immerse myself in my community on those days I feel down.
Yeah. For me, I would say prayer. I think I probably relied more on my husband than I need to because he's like my person, you know, so I talk to him about everything. Community is important. There was a time where I saw a meme or something years ago, and I was like, this is like the truest thing. And it says like, behind every Black girl or, you know, successful Black girl is a group text of girlfriends bigging her up. And I was like,
yes,
that is the truth. Because
yes,
so often, you know, there are days where you're just like, I don't know why this isn't going the way I thought. And you know, your girl be like, girl, you the stuff. Like,
I know.
You know, people love you. And you're like, you know what? I am the stuff. Like,
you need those friends who are like, you know, who just tell you how amazing you are, right? Who tell you your
It's-
magic. Somebody said they don't have your magic. Thank you for saying that.
Yes.
Somebody else said,
Yes.
congratulations for showing up. Say that God is everything. Won't He
Yes.
do it? There's a lot of encouragement in the
And
chat.
we need that. Oftentimes we need that. And, you know, even like for me, because I am the face of my brand and because I post and I share about my family, like I literally read every single comment on the pictures. I read and I, you know, try to respond as much as I can. Like that literally encourages me to keep going. Because sometimes you do sometimes feel like, hey, is anybody there? Does anybody hear me? Does anybody
I know it. You post something and you're like, don't nobody like this post? Don't nobody like this lipstick? Oh my God. So somebody asked, like, anybody recommend? We recommend ourselves. We recommend ourselves. We recommend our products, and we recommend you share our profile with all of your friends.
Yeah.
That's the recommendation.
Yeah. Do that. But there are some, there are some brands where I'm like, you need a candle? Go to this person. You need some cute earrings? Go to this. Like literally my Rolodex, I always shout. But we need that. We need people who are all, like, you are on their go-to list. Oh, you're looking for African clothes? Go to Love Iguehi, check her out. You know, and that matters because clearly someone's coming to you for advice, so they respect your opinion. And oftentimes that carries more weight than them just finding you on IG and seeing your pretty pictures.
Huge,
you know what I mean?
Huge. That personal recommendation is huge. And the other thing I'll say about that is I believe in sowing seeds. And you don't do it because you want something in return. But every time you sow into someone else, that is coming back to you one way or the other. Don't know how.
Don't know when.
It is almost like that is part of your job in this world, to sow into someone else. You can't always be sowing into yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Iguehi.
This was fun.
Chat. I am so happy that we have to meet since we're not too far away. I'm in Palo Alto, not too far away from you. No. One of these days we need to meet each other. Thank you to everyone who hopped on this live for our first Black History Month chat series, Black Women in Storytelling. And honestly, I wish you nothing but success. I wish you mercy, grace, and favor. And I just, I want to see you blow up.
Me too.
And
look, I'm committed.
And you look beautiful.
Yeah, I'm committed.
Yes.
People know, like, if I like something, I'm going to promote it. There's a Nigerian designer that does bags, and I'm like a stand for her too. So y'all get into this bossy lipstick. If you need recommendations.
And hold on, I haven't modeled my thing yet.
Yes.
I love it. It's so gorgeous. Anyway, let me go. I got to go make sure everybody's had dinner and everybody's good. But this was awesome, Iguehi.
Thank you so
to
much.
everyone who joined. See you.
Guys.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Thank you, everybody, for joining. I think somebody said, what's on my lips? My lips or Iguehi's lips? I'm wearing Bombshell lipstick, and on top of that, I have Pop gloss. Underneath it, I have Lush lip liner, and Iguehi was wearing Mulberry lipstick. Okay, thank you all for joining. Bye. I'm going to keep dancing to my Afro beats over here. Bye.